Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
The struggle with the ASIS strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not the slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report. I have not seen the report.
All right, welcome to the International World Water Day, and definitely I hope you had some glasses of water. The medical professionals tell us we need at least 10 glasses of water per day to keep our body temperature, at its optimal best. And, I'm not a doctor, just trying to let you know what the medical professionals say. What is the World International Water Day? And we're celebrating the importance of water. We know that water has caused a conflict in the past and also still causing conflict where there seems to be enough water. And also, in terms of water, getting quality potable water is also very essential for not just our well-being, for also for nature, especially when you have to talk about agriculture. It's very key for the existence of man. So on that note, we're celebrating and welcoming to today's edition of Africa's Finest Breakfast Show. Good morning, my name is Anthony Momodu. I'm not alone. There are those who use water most, especially at home, and they are, or she is by my side.
Good morning, Anthony Momodu. Good morning to all our viewers out there. How you all doing? Happy World International Water Day. Yes, water is life, Anthony. You see, like you said, it's essential to get clean water. And how do you know we use water most?
Because we know that this opposite gender, they are mostly in the kitchen, and when they're in the bathroom, we know they use water mostly because of their natural occurrence. And this year's theme is leveraging on water for peace. So it tells you how important water is for the peaceful coexistence of communities, of families, because when there's no water, you get agitated because you don't feel clean enough and all that. There are many things. You can't go a day without water, basically, and so the importance of water cannot be underestimated or underemphasized, and that's why the United Nations has termed this year's 2024 International Day as leveraging on water for peace. And urging the United Nations Secretary General, talking about Antonio Guterres, has a message emphasizing on the urgent need for increased boundary water cooperation, water for peace. So it means that countries, nations should be able to have increased their boundary water cooperation. Water for peace is the theme of this year's Water Day, and it tells we need to share quality potable water for the good of individuals, communities, states, and nations.
You know what? I feel people don't drink enough water. People actually overlook the fact that water is very important in one's health, especially with this time where the weather is
extremely hot.
Extremely hot.
Climate change.
Exactly. People take it for granted, and they feel, okay, let me take a beverage instead of water. But water is very important due to the the kind of volume it gives and all of that in the body system, of course, in the body flow. So a lot of people do not take water, they take it for granted, but it's an essential need, or would I say utility in the world today. I like the fact that it's for peace pack. So if you're for those that are thinking what it is, like what is playing in my head, if you have like a dispute with someone, just get a glass of water and just put it in the middle. Hey, that's a peace pack right here.
All right, we cannot overemphasize the importance of water, but there are some countries where they virtually don't drink water. I know in Asia, they drink more of, or Germany, where we have more of alcohol and other form of liquid they take rather than water, but water is very important. Like the medical professionals say, it occupies almost 80% of our body. in terms of the liquid in the body system. So it tells you that it's very important for you to take water. If you are dehydrated, you could pass out. So it tells you how important water is, especially when the climate change situation tells us how important it is for us for more intake of water so that you can maintain the body balance.
And of course, for women who are into exclusive breastfeeding, so like the doctor would tell you, don't worry about giving the child water because the milk contains almost 80% of water. So there's that balance it gives the child. So water is essential. It's very important. So at least I'm glad International Day for water. And
this theme says trans-boundary cooperation. So it means like for Nigeria that gives Nigerian Republic electricity, we can also share water. We've seen Egypt and some other countries are having issue because of the Nile, the River Nile, how important the River Nile is for irrigation, for farming. So water is so important that even during the creation of the world, God also did create, the body called water. So let's go out there, share water. Let's have a transboundary water.
Yes,
communities don't fight over water, rather share water for the good of humanity. So important. On that note, we welcome you once again and we say happy Water Day. So drink lots of water today, less drinks, though it's Friday, no raising of the, how do you say it?
TGIF.
No, how do you say you raise the arm or the glass?
Raise the glass. Are you kidding me right now?
Don't raise the bottle, raise the glass of water. Okay, so that's what I was trying to say because she's better at that than me, so I had to get that phrase from her. All right, let's move on to other talking points. We've got some very interesting issues. The issues of the slain 17 soldiers is not going away anytime soon.
No, it's not.
New Revelations says the Army civil society organizations, former DSS boss, in the person of Mike Ejiofor, has said the Nigerian Army is an interested party in the killing of the 17 military officers, so should not be the
part of the investigation
because they're going to be obviously biased.
Of course.
And we've seen that already. That video showed they've burnt down the Okuma village, and the people have been in hiding for 6 days without food or water. And so it means the military are terrorizing this community. So we're having lots of even civil society organizations and activists calling the attention of the federal government to the excesses of the Nigerian military as regards what played out in Delta State. So we're hoping that that will be completely looked at. As a former director of Department of State Services, Mike Ejiofor, has said that the Nigerian Army is an interested party in the killing of the 17 military personnel in the Okwama community in Ughelli South Local Government area of Delta State. He also said the federal government and state government should close ranks and set up an independent probe panels with representatives from both ends to investigate what led to the incident. Ejiofor stated this in an interview he had with Channels TV. He said there's need for an independent panel. So let's see if the federal government or the army would allow that to occur. Already the Nigerian police force reported yesterday that they're finding it hard to get into the community because the Nigerian army has held, yes, and that's very disturbing because now it's becoming the military versus the Nigerian people. So I think the federal government, the president specifically, should call them to order because there's another stakeholder raised the issue of the fact that these killings obviously was not just about the communal clash, but because there's an interest, there's a resource in that community that made those generals, sorry, not the generals, the major and the captain to go in there. And so because there is an interest, that means what played out was not just about the two communities, but someone taking advantage of. So it has to be investigated so that we are very sure what really happened in Okwama community. So we're hoping the federal government and others will do the needful.
The police, it's very important that they do the needful. And now moving on to more stories now, talking about protesting NLC members. It says the embattled national chairman of Labour Party, Julius Abure, on Thursday lamented that the party lost property worth millions of naira and some staff salaries to the invasion by protesting members of the Nigerian Labour Congress. And it says, Abure made the claim in a statement issued in Abuja by the National Publicity Secretary of LP, Obiora Ifo. The ongoing conflict between NLC and the leadership of LP escalated on Wednesday when members of the union picketed the party secretariat across the country. The move was to press home their demand for Abure's resignation.
It's very interesting that NLC members are now thieves, according to the Labour Party chairman.
True.
But it's very sad that NLC alleged that the NLC members allegedly stole some properties or some things from the secretariat. So I think the NLC has to come out to debunk this, if it's true or not. And if they did, that's criminal, so they have to be prosecuted. But it's very sad the NLC is losing focus. Their mandate was to protect the rights of Nigerian workers and the masses, but now they're delving too far into politics.
Yes, exactly.
And also now stealing, according to their...
But that's yet to be proven.
Yeah, that's why I said alleged stealing. So I think the fact that it's their own sister arm of a body in terms of Labour Party that are accusing them. So if they have to hold anybody responsible, it has to be Abure.
Exactly.
Because he told Nigerians NLC members stole. So we didn't say that.
No, we didn't say
all
that.
All right,
at
but
all.
it's very disturbing that it has gotten
to that level.
And so Joe Ajaero, once again, in the news for the wrong reasons. We saw him in the news in Imo State. We have other talking points. You want to share with us as regards, aside from Abure making the claim of items.
And of course, there's Minister of Defense Alhaji Mohammed Badar Abubakar has assured that the killers of soldiers in Delta State will be fished out soon, and the kidnapped students of Kariga in Chukum local government area of Kaduna State will soon be released. Of course, that's a big assurance there. The perpetrators should be brought to book.
But what is disturbing is that if you couldn't get them 24 hours and 48 hours after the crime was committed, what's the guarantee that you're going to get the true suspects? Because we know how the Niger Delta terrain is. It's a coastal line, and
very coastal.
They are interwoven, and there are lots of areas, there are creeks. And if they decide to go to the creeks where they know these boys usually are and pick the wrong people, how can justice be served?
But the truth is, for me, I feel once there's a thorough investigation, just like you heard what happened with in the FCT, where there was a 20 million naira on one bounty on one of the terrorists that was terrorizing, and it just shows that if you want something done and you put in the right resources and source, you will get the right perpetrators. So the thing is, proper investigation, information must be given to ensure that the individuals who are brought out as the ones that are brought to book are the right individuals with the rights. This is a very painful incident that happened, really. So I'm sure the criminals will be brought to book.
All right, and in as much as we want the criminals to be brought to book, we also want there's a chance for the government and the military to also purge themselves of their penchant for always wanting to get involved in some things rather than what they are meant to do. Because we're looking at resource control and the fact that they get involved in illegal mining and so let's see oil wells. So let's see how this probe and investigation will go through, and we hope that when an independent body is set up, the military also agree to whatever findings and not try to
manipulate
or intimidate those people that will be in the panel. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, and you know what, this is like a very big lesson, that it's not every communal clash that the military should get involved in. We should leave it to the police, sister organizations who are the right body to handle such issues. The military should not be involved in things
that's why it feels there's something fishy.
Exactly.
If you look at the top level persons that went to for that communal peace mission, it's very unusual.
You know what? I was speaking to someone, a military personnel, and he says, you know what it is? When you're in places like the Niger Delta, most officers or soldiers who go there, it's like a money well.
True.
They go in and then that's where they make their money. That's where they make, because there are lots of bunkeries going on. They try as much as possible to connive with these people who are oil thieves and all of that in order to
reach a truce with them. They share the spoils.
Exactly, and they have remittance. Okay, fine, allow me to do this bunkery, and then at the end of the day, this is your cut, and they make a lot of money. Check out individuals who have gone to serve in Niger Delta?
Recently, there was a reporter coming from Abaji towards Lokoja Road. What the military do at the checkpoints, they put a civilian who collects money from the bus driver. So you just see a civilian just standing, the driver goes forward, he just gives something so that even if you had a camera or the phone, you will not see the military man collecting the money. Rather, that person collects the money for them. So that's the new antics that report says is going on currently. So probably we urge the military to also look at that antics, the new format of
very important.
Collecting money from drivers. They put a civilian, collects the money, and so it's very disturbing.
And it's very important that the military should understand they should uphold what they believe. That's the integrity of the military. It's very important that they should stand by the good of the people and not against the people, which is a very important factor in this matter. It shows that that thorough investigation should be done, so we'll know the way forward, to know whether there's a loophole somewhere that led to the death of these slain soldiers.
All right, before we go to the international scene, let's give you some taste and texture. I'm sure your appetite is already wet. Sorry?
When you say taste and texture.
It's, there's some words that are very hard to come out.
All right, now up next is taste and texture. Okay. For people like us that we're not, we like food. Okay, let's see what taste and texture will bring to us this morning. Just get your pen and paper and let's enjoy. Stay tuned. Global Morning returns shortly.
Welcome to another mouth-watering episode on Taste and Texture. I'm Fatimi Abu Umar. Today we'll be doing some sweet potato pancakes. Sweet potato pancakes are healthy and delicious and easy to make. This gluten-free and dairy-free pancake, make this recipe in 20 minutes or less, or enjoy fresh or freeze for later. There is nothing like different flavors in a healthy breakfast meal. Sweet potato, cinnamon, and just right amount of maple syrup. They're easy to make. They take only 20 minutes, made with 8 simple ingredients. Whether you're looking for a great way to use sweet potato or you have at hand wanting an easy flavored breakfast recipe, these sweet potato pancakes are easy and simple, perfect for everyone. You only need 8 simple ingredients for this: sweet potato puree, eggs, coconut oil, almond milk, apple cider vinegar, oat flour, cinnamon, baking powder. How to make sweet potato pancakes? Combine the sweet potato puree, eggs, coconut oil, almond milk, and apple cider vinegar together. Mix flour, baking powder, and a dash of salt together. Pour the liquid ingredient into the dry ingredients and whisk together. Cook the pancakes and enjoy. Tips: cook the pancakes for the right amount of time by making sure they start to bubble before flipping over. Toppings: serving these pancakes fresh. Here are some few healthy topping ideas you might like: with Greek yogurt, fresh fruits like bananas, strawberries, apples, blueberries, walnuts or pecans, almond butter or cashew butter, maple syrup, honey. No matter how you decide to top these yummy pancakes, you will love how fluffy and delicious they are. That's all for now. See you same time next time for another finger-licking episode on Taste and Texture. Bye.
Now, okay, that's breakfast, and I'm already filled to the brim, and oh boy, that's is in murder.
What do you say? That's pancakes.
Okay, what? Pancakes. But it looks very yummy. The yolk just makes it really appealing, and I felt like a glass of juice would do the trick.
You just talked about water today.
Okay, water, then juice, or juice and water, any which way. But
you fall in that category that don't like water. You have to drink water.
I do. When I drink, I want to kill myself. The day I remember, I just drink like I'm going to kill myself.
Yes, I understand that
some
feeling.
days I just go like this without water. But I realized something. When I did water therapy for like 2 weeks, I grew chubbier. I added more weight. So water is amazing.
Like, Judy, you don't understand what water does to the system. It cleans out all the kidney.
True.
It helps. It gives that balance. I'm not a doctor. In fact, what we did was we have gotten a doctor who explained to us.
Yeah, we were hoping a doctor would join us by around 9 a.m. or so, because the doctor, we spoke with her earlier on. She said she did the night shift, and so she couldn't talk to us this early.
Morning.
So we pleaded with her that hopefully by 9 a.m. She should be up and doing, and she's going to talk to us about the importance of
water. Is a cleanser. It cleanses every part of the system,
and
from the intestine.
From Niger Delta, that's why a lot of water around us. So. We drink a lot of water. The other kind of water too.
I don't know.
All right, drinking water is essential. Just tell them water, not the other kind of water.
Not the kind that you guys. Is that what you're talking about?
Water. Okay, they said it's. Oh, she said it's from Saple, right?
Saple water. Not that kind of water, please. We're talking about H2O.
All right, the people of the Southeast are not smiling like we're smiling.
No, they're not.
IPOP people, IPOP family, or not to say IPOP family, but the family of IPOP leader, Nandi Kanu, are beginning to cry foul that the elders of the Southeast have left their son hanging. I guess this will make Kanu have a rethink, probably if ever he gets the chance to come out. He have a rethink to know that, okay, the people are not completely in support of what he's doing.
True.
And if he has to fight for the people of Southeast, he can do it in a democratic way.
Yes,
and probably
the right way.
Come out to become a governor and probably come out to want to be a president. That will be a better way of fighting for the people of the Southeast.
Very true.
But the family of the detained, I probably have cried out to the elders of the Southeast, saying they have abandoned their son to whatever happens to him. But technically, I think they haven't, because they're just allowing the course of the law to take its place or take its course.
And truly, Nnamdi Kanu is a threat when it comes to that sit-home order. Was because of him and all of that. They wanted to pass a message, but I'm sure the justice will be served at the same time. Let's do it rightly, so we'll not cause another issue when it comes to the southeast. Very important. Let's just do it with kid gloves and know the way forward. Well, it's okay to say that their son has been abandoned. It's looking like that, but at the long run, justice will definitely be served.
All right, let's talk about the federal government a little, then we'll talk about sport, because our darling Super Eagles will be in action today as they do international friendly matches. But we're talking about Femi Gbajabiamila, who is the secretary to the government of Federation, the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila. Is in the news that this morning he made some very interesting revelations, saying the federal government may save an estimated amount of over 5 billion naira every quarter from new policy banning officials of ministries, departments, and agencies from embarking on public-funded foreign trips for 3 months, according to the analysis of a government budget data. The data was collated from breakdown of funds earmarked for international travels in the 2024 budget by 103 MDAs. President Bola Tinubu raised concerns about the rising cost of international travels borne by the director, permanent secretaries, and workers of the Federal Civil Service. As a result, the president, in a letter dated March 12, 2024, signed by the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, an address to the secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, banned government officials from embarking on public-funded trips overseas. But my issue is, why is it starting April 1st, and why is it for just 3 months? And why don't you just make it for good, because at least for this year, because we are facing very tight economic.
And I think that's why it's for 3 months, because we're in a very tight corner right now when it comes to the economy. Let's not start something we cannot finish. I'm sure with time it will be prolonged, but it's like a starting point. Let's just start and see how far this goes. So in order not to raise unnecessary hope and say, okay, it's for or to the end of the year, let's just start with 3 months first. At least we know that he knows that that time frame can be sorted. So let's see how well it goes. Let's not lose hope completely.
All right, let's not lose hope completely. Days of hope. Besides, it's a renewed hope agenda. So
yes, it is.
Let's keep the hope. In the next few minutes, let's see if we could take a bit of sporting news, especially the fact that we know our darling Super Eagles will be facing the Black Stars of Ghana and also the Eagles of Mali. But the first game is today against the Black Stars of Ghana. And we've got Finidi George, who will be given the chance as a Nigerian to lead the Super Eagles. So we wish him the very best in his first assignment as the chief coach of the Super Eagles. And so let's get some sports stories then. It will be time for Global AM News.
Yes,
Stay with us.
Don't go anywhere.
Hello sports fans, welcome to Sports News Update. Coach Finidi George has said that the principal objective of African vice champions Nigeria is to earn good results in the upcoming friendly games against Ghana and Mali's senior teams scheduled for the city of Marrakesh in Morocco. Looking ahead of Friday's clash with four-time African champions Ghana, Finidi reiterated the Super Eagles are presently in high station in African football, having finished as runners-up at the African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire, and everything must be done to maintain this status and even exceed it. Finidi George won 62 caps for Nigeria, including featuring at the 1994 and 1998 FIFA World Cup finals, and won gold, silver, and bronze medals from 1992, 1994, 2000, 2002 African tournament. First AFCON encounter against Ghana was on 23rd January 1992 in a semi-final encounter that the Black Stars won 2-1. Afterwards, Finidi was involved when both teams played out a barren draw in a friendly in Lagos in March 1994 and a goalless draw in Accra in 2002 FIFA World Cup qualifier, a 3-0 win for Nigeria in Port Harcourt that sent Nigeria through to Korea-Japan 2002 World Cup, and a 1-0 win for Nigeria at the AFCON quarterfinal match in Bamako in 2002. Nigerian sprint icon Tobi Amusun has won the 100 meters hurdles gold at the ongoing African Games in Ghana. Amusun, after a false start scare, won the race in a time of 12 minutes 89 seconds. Amusun defeated Sindiona Fiandanasoa of Madagascar, who ran at a time of 13.19 seconds to finish second. The track queen now has a hat-trick of 400 meters hurdles African Games titles after winning the event at the last two editions in Congo-Brazzaville in 2015 and Rabat in 2019. Premier League clubs are being left baffled by the conflicting refereeing reports landing in their inbox every week because they are being told that VAR was right not to intervene even when the referee was wrong. An evaluation known as the Key Match Incident report is emailed to all 20 sides after each round of fixtures set up by the Premier League, co-owned by the PGMO. It lists the major moments which occurred in every match alongside the verdict of the 5-person KMI panel who assesses whether the referee's on-field decision was correct or incorrect. They also determine whether the VAR was right or wrong in following up with the intervention or not. And wrapping it up, former Brazil and Manchester City winger Robinho will reportedly serve a 9-year jail sentence for gang rape in his home country after he was found guilty in Italy in 2017. Brazil's Superior Court of Justice, according to Globo, came to the landmark judgment on Wednesday after the Italian authorities had asked to extradite the 40-year-old in 2022. The former Premier League player, whose real name is Robinson de Sousa, was one of the 6 men who were found guilty of assaulting an Albanian woman in an Italian nightclub in January 2013. In January 2022, the Supreme Court in Rome dismissed his final appeal against the conviction. Robinho claims he is innocent has been living in Brazil for the past 7 years. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. President Bola Tinubu has banned ministers, heads of agencies and other government officials from embarking on public-funded foreign trips. The ban will last for 3 months in the first instance and will take effect on April 1st, 2024. This was contained in a letter dated March 12, 2024 and signed by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and addressed to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. In January, Tinubu issued an order to reduce the number of people accompanying him on both local and foreign trips, noting that his delegation members should not exceed 25 for local travels and 20 for international trips. President Bola Tinubu has appealed to members of the National Assembly to exercise restraint in summoning heads of ministries, departments, and agencies before parliamentary committees. The president made the appeal while speaking at the breaking of the Ramadan fast in Abuja alongside the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, and the leadership of the House. Tinubu noted that while oversight is essential for maintaining transparency and accountability in governance, excessive summoning of officials can disrupt operations and hinder service delivery to citizens. He therefore urged lawmakers to, in the exercise of their oversight functions, use discretion. President Bola Tinubu has approved what he called a befitting burial for the 17 soldiers who were killed while on a peacekeeping mission in Delta State last week. This was as he approved the conferment of posthumous national honors on the slain soldiers. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajurin Gilale, disclosed this in a statement. The president, while expressing his heartfelt condolences to the families of the bereaved, pledged that the sacrifices of the fallen heroes would never be in vain. The House of Representatives passed a bill that was sent to it by President Bola Tinubu for the upward review of salaries, allowances, and French benefits for judicial officers nationwide for the third reading. Based on the provisions of the bill, judges are to get over 800% pay rise, as the Chief Justice of Nigeria is to earn 64.6 million naira annually. Basic salary and allowances far higher than what obtains currently. Other justices of the Supreme Court are to earn annual basic salaries and regular allowances of over 60 million naira annually. The development received the backing of the various senior advocates of Nigeria, as they insisted that well-remunerated judicial officers would be less susceptible to corruption. The Senate Joint Committee on Defense, Army, Navy, and Air Force held a closed-door meeting with the service chiefs over the recent killing of 17 officers and troops of the Nigerian Army in Okuma Community, Bomadi local government area of Delta State. It was also gathered that the troops intensified the manhunts for the killers of the military men. The 4 military officers and 13 soldiers were said to have gone to Okuma Community on a peacekeeping mission when they were slain by hoodlums last week. The Senate had, during its plenary, mandated the Joint Committee to investigate the killing of the military men. The Nigerian Senate has passed the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024. The Senate's resolution followed its consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TETFON. The chairman of the committee, Senator Mutare Danduse, presented the report during plenary. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
The core objective of the bill is to provide a legislative framework to support the establishment of Nigerian Education Loan Fund with a view to oversee the general administration of the management and disbursement of the loan to beneficiaries.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had last week written to the Senate and the House of Representatives seeking the repeal of the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Bill and to enact a new one. The bill, which scaled first, second and third reading in both plenary sittings, became law.
The Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Third Fund on the Student Loans Access to Higher Education Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, and approved as follows. Loan title as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 36 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 37 as recommended. Short title, clause 38 as recommended. Schedules 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole?
On the repayment of the loans by beneficiaries, the bill stipulates that beneficiaries of the fund shall begin as soon as the beneficiaries become employed in any capacity. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Detective with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Mahmoud Tuku, denied promising the former Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, leniency in exchange for indicting the former Minister of Finance and others. The former Accountant General of the Federation had told the Federal Capital Territory High Court on February 1st, 2024, that the EFCC deceived him to admit to the allegations against him. The ex-AGF specifically claimed that the EFCC told him they wanted to use him to get the Minister of Finance and some governors to receive derivation funds. Idris and his co-defendants are standing trial on 14 charges of stealing and criminal breach of trust to the tune of 109.5 billion naira. In a bid to create an introspective analysis of the National Land Transportation Policy, the Federal Ministry of Transportation, under the leadership of Senator Saeed Ahmed Al-Khali, holds a draft National Land Transportation Policy Validation Forum in Abuja. The minister says the draft National Land Transportation provides a comprehensive assessment of current challenges and proposes strategic responses to enhance the sector, incorporating key considerations such as climate change, capacity building, and inclusive transportation. Global TV Fauzia Lukman tells us more.
As transport is an important factor in the economic and social development of any nation, where different modes of transport have their specific characteristics, the Minister of Transportation says the policy is geared towards addressing challenges associated with the land transport sector, comprising rail, road, and pipeline. He described the road sector as the weakest but the major burden bearer in the sector, adding that there is an urgent need to develop a policy stating that the land mode is the major linkage to social, regional, national, and international markets.
I must emphasize that the National Land Transport Policy will not in any way deter the finalization of the national policy, but it aims to develop a vibrant transportation system that will reduce congestion, improve connectivity in both rural and urban areas, and foster a sustainable and inclusive transportation system.
The minister also assures that the policy will develop a vibrant land transportation system that would reduce congestion, improve connectivity in both urban and rural areas, and foster a sustainable and inclusive transportation system. He added that the success of the policy would be a win-win for everyone, as it represents the voices of the communities, businesses, civil society organizations, and the general public.
Permit me to emphasize the success of this policy is a win-win for all of us, as we are all represent the voices of communities, business, civil society organizations, and the general public. Let us give all to validate a document that will stand the test of time.
Speaking on the key factor in formulating the policy, stakeholders in the transport sector emphasize on the three policy imperatives to respond to so as to minimize relying on fossil fuels.
How do we make better use of the resources that we have? We have to be more efficient in planning. We have to be more efficient in allocative decisions. And we have to be more efficient in terms of selecting what we do and what we don't. The policy takes note of this, i.e. that we do not and cannot continue to rely on fossil fuel for the various reasons that we're all aware of, and therefore we need to change and begin to see how we can transit.
The goal is to develop a diversified and sustainable transportation energy mix. This is a reflection of the current government disposition to discourage the use of fossil fuel and encourage the use of compressed natural gas. Capacity building, knowledge generation and management.
Land transportation has the potential to boost other areas such as agriculture, commerce, tourism, industry, education, and blue economy, among others. Minister of Transportation added that the policy will be ready in 2 weeks and presented to the Federal Executive Council, FEC, for approval. Fauzia Lukman, Global TV News.
The House of Representatives called on the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to stick to its resolution and lift the ban on sachet alcoholic beverages and PET bottles. The Chairman House Committee on NAFDAC, Regina Akume, gave the charge at a news conference in Abuja. The House had on March 14, 2024, asked NAFDAC to lift the ban on the production of alcohol in sachet and PET bottles of less than 200 ml. The resolution by the House followed agitation and protest by distillers who said the ban would throw 500,000 workers out of jobs and ruin 800 billion naira investments. The Nigerian Senate has raised concerns over the growing threat posed by the menace of out-of-school children in Nigeria, calling for multi-sectoral interventions to tackle it. The upper chamber says the dangers posed to society by the growing number of out-of-school children is real, citing cases of banditry, kidnapping, and robbery, murder, and other forms of violent crimes as manifestations. Lawmakers expressed their opinions as they debated a motion on the topic, compelling need to tackle the challenge of out-of-school children in Nigeria, sponsored by Senator Adebule Olurante from Lagos West. Kikelomo Okere tells us more.
Adebule Idiat, representing Lagos West in our motion, says it has become worrisome, going by 2022 report of the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, that about 20 million Nigerian children are out of school, which represents 10% of the estimated Nigerian population of 200 million people, and also represents the highest number of the out-of-school children from any country globally.
That the social impacts of having about 20 million out-of-school children on the Nigerian state will include impediment to achieving some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially Goal 4, which is to ensure inclusiveness and equitable quality of education and promotion of lifelong learning opportunities for all.
Making a contribution, former governor of Edo State, Senator Adams Oshomole, criticized state governors who claimed they could not afford the 50% counterpart fund to assess the UBE program.
It cannot be the truth that every governor can afford to buy the same bulletproof car. We can afford the same state-of-the-art government house, but we cannot afford to pay 50% subsidy to ensure that the child of the poor go to school.
Other senators contributed to the debate by calling on the government at all levels to urgently arrest the trend.
Those of us who will know the reasons, part of the reasons for banditry, will tell you that they are not educated. They don't have anything to do. Once their cows are taken away, they now engage in banditry.
In his remark, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says, since education is the bedrock of all good things in any society, government at all levels should ensure that no school-aged child stay out of school in Nigeria.
Take a cue from what I did when I was governor of Akwa Ibom State. I signed the Child Rights Bill into law and I enshrined a provision of 6 months imprisonment for any guardian or parents that allows a child of school age to roam around the streets, go into hawking or any other venture during school hours. And that way we had enforcers. We had special assistants to the governor on education monitoring, and they went around the state to search from local government to make sure that no child was left behind and no child was in a farm or was on the street or was selling newspapers during school hours. It was quite effective. And then we declared free and compulsory education in the state for all children of school ages, from primary school to senior secondary school, and opening it up to all Nigerian children who were residents in Akwa Ibom State for 8 years.
Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Kwara State Police Command has rescued a Chinese national, Peng Chao Zhan, who was recently kidnapped in Eyankorin, a suburb of Ilorin, the state capital. The spokesperson of the police in the state, to Ijire Adeyemi, in a statement yesterday, said the Chinese national was rescued by the command's team and vigilantes. Adeyemi said that the man had been reunited with his family unharmed, adding that the success of the rescue operation underscored the commitment of the State Police Command to ensuring safety and security of all residents and visitors within the state. The Ekiti State government has launched a free healthcare program for over 19,000 retirees. The State Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Oyebanji Afilani, disclosed this in a statement posted on X handle of the state government. The statement read, Ekiti State government has launched free healthcare services for more than 19,000 pensioners who previously worked in the state and local government public services. The commissioner further stated that the need for all pensioners to make themselves available for sensitization, understand the process, and know the centers to access the medical care. You're watching AM News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes Channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When AM News returns, National Bureau of Statistics says kerosene price stands at 1,340 naira in February. These and other stories right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of AM News. Thank you for staying with us. Ahead of the Ondo State governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has urged civil society organizations to engage with political parties and observe their primaries, just as they engage with INEC and deploy observers to the main election conducted by the commission. Professor Yakubu Mahmood made this call while addressing CSOs at its first consultative meeting for the year in Abuja, adding that in doing so will further strengthen CSOs' advocacy for inclusivity for groups such as women, youths, and persons with disability that are underrepresented in elective offices at national and state level. Anthony Momodu tells us more.
In a strategic meeting with the CSOs, Professor Yakubu Mahmood urged them to submit their observation report, saying it is mandatory as one of the conditions for eligibility to observe future elections. He noted that going forward, the Commission will operate strictly on the policy of no observation report, no accreditation.
Parties will commence their primaries for the governorship election in the next 2 weeks. 16 political parties out of 19 have so far indicated interest in participating in the election. I urge civil society organizations to engage with political parties and observe their primaries just as we engage with INEC and deploy observers to the main election conducted by the Commission. By doing so, you will strengthen your advocacy, particularly for inclusivity, for groups such as women, youth, and persons with disability that are underrepresented in elected offices at national and state level. I want to reassure you that INEC will continue to partner with civil society organizations. We appreciate the observations and recommendations contained in your election.
Responding on behalf of the CSOs, the Executive Director, Sustainable Gender Action Initiative, Mofiliat Fijabi, assures INEC of the commitment of CSOs to a smooth electioneering process. She added that the CSO will not relent in providing a voice for the voiceless in the society.
For an inclusive democratic process driven by the kind of election that we all work together to have in this country. And of course, the fact that civil society organizations already work with political parties would also strengthen its observation of primaries, leading to the emergence of candidates in elections.
The Commission, however, states that the forthcoming off-cycle governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states will hold as follows. The Edo governorship election to hold on Saturday, 21st September 2024, while that of Ondo State is scheduled for Saturday, 16 November 2024. Anthony Momodu.
On the foreign scene, Britain's annual inflation rate fell more than expected in February. Official data showed fueling speculation that the Bank of England will cut interest rates this year. Inflation reached 3.4% last month, the lowest level since September 2021, after hitting 4.0% in January, according to the Office of the National Statistics. The consensus had been for consumer prices to rise by 3.5% in February, according to Bloomberg survey. Inflation remains well above the Bank of England's 2% target. A groundbreaking medical procedure took place in Boston, where surgeons successfully transplanted a kidney from a genetically engineered pig into a 62-year-old man who needed a transplant. According to the New York Times report, the indications are encouraging so far. Physicians at the Massachusetts General Hospital, known as Mass General, have reported that the patient's condition is steadily improving since the surgery last weekend. The patient, Richard Slayman of Weymouth, is recovering well at the MGH and is expected to be discharged soon, as stated on the hospital's website. At least 30 schools in the Paris region have this week received threatening messages accompanied by shocking footage of beheadings, the Education Ministry said on Thursday. The establishment, mainly secondary schools, have received serious threats containing justification of an incitement of terrorism. The messages came through the ENT digital platform that serves as a link between teachers, pupils, and parents. Internal emails or the PromNote software used by the Education Ministry. Investigators were working to identify the perpetrators, said the ministry, adding that the psychological support had been offered to children or adults who had watched the shocking videos. According to a police source, at least 5 high schools in the Department of Yvelines in the west of the Greater Paris region received bomb threats between Wednesday and Thursday. And wrapping it up, at least 17 people, including a child, were injured by falling debris, 4 of whom are in hospital, authorities said. It is the largest Russian attack in weeks and follows a vow from Moscow to revenge over recent attacks by Ukraine on its border regions. The attack prompted Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky to renew his call for more military aid from Western allies. Several explosions were heard throughout Kiev shortly before dawn as its anti-missile defense systems shot the rockets down. And that's how we call it a wrap on the AM News. I am Anthony Momodu saying good morning.